For many of you, if love were to be a crime, you would prefer to be hunted. And that was exactly what happened to this Dutch prince who chose love over the throne. But while this story feels like a fairy tale, reality sometimes can be very harsh, especially when the past begins to resurface. Because while love is fierce like fire, it can always burn you later to ashes. The questions we all ask after his courageous act of choosing a woman over the crown are, did he make the right choice? And how is their relationship now after 2 decades together? In this video, we will give you the juicy stories, and at the end, let us know what you think. Childhood. On August 11, 1968, Mabel Martijn Loos was born in Pijnacker, Netherlands, to Hendrik Loos and Florence Komen. Her mother later remarried Peter Y. Smith, a bank executive, in 1984 after her father, Hendrik, died in a skating accident when she was just 9 years old. Since Mabel and her sister were quite young when their father passed away, they decided to adopt their stepfather's last name. For a reason it seems fate was going to play out, Mabel and her siblings relocated to Het Gooi, Netherlands, where they grew up due to her mother's second marriage. Although Mabel's early education has not been made public by the Dutch royal family, it is known that she earned a degree in political science and economics with honors from the University of Amsterdam in 1993. She participated in the University of Oxford's International Human Rights Law Summer School in 2001. In 2008, she went to Boston, Massachusetts for the Global Leadership and Public Policy for the 21st Century Executive Education Program at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Her educational history and successes showed that Mabel was not just any kind of girl, but one who had privileges, and made use of her privileges to build her career and wealth. Prince Friso, on the other hand, lived the life of royalty. He's the second son of Princess Beatrix and Prince Claus, and also was the heir apparent to the Dutch throne following his elder brother Willem-Alexander, who presently holds the position of King of the Netherlands. Like many royal princes and princesses, Friso was an excellent student. He studied economics at the University of Rotterdam, went on to earn an MBA, and worked as a vice president at an investment bank. In addition, he was a prime example of a wealthy prince as he was one of the founding shareholders of Wizz Air, the biggest budget airline in Eastern Europe. But he had just one problem. The prince was reportedly highly attractive as a young man and was not known to have dated anyone. The gay community in the Netherlands came to believe he was gay. He watched in merriment as Friso-themed parties established themselves as a mainstay of the nightlife. However, in 2001, when mainstream media started to speculate about whether he might come out of the closet, he ordered the Royal Information Service to release a single statement that said, "Johan Friso is not homosexual, but heterosexual." Maybe this was why many were happy when he at last announced he was in love with a woman. The encounter. In the early 2000s, Princess Laurentian, the wife of Prince Constantine, who also happened to be the younger brother of Prince Johan Friso of Orange-Nassau, introduced Mabel Y. Smith to the prince in a special event in Brussels. As their relationship developed, it is reported that the prince even showed up at Mabel's door completely clothed in a white Mexican suit with champagne and roses to pop the question. Their engagement was disclosed in June of 2003, and at first it looked like everything would go according to plan for the wedding, until one day a news was revealed that shocked the whole of Netherlands. Expectedly, it was normal for people to be curious about the non-royal partner of any royal member, and this curiosity pushed many into some background investigation. The controversies. It was one of these investigations that revealed the dark past of Mabel. She was not the saint that many had portrayed her to be. This woman had a history with one of the most notorious criminals in the country, Klaas Bruinsma. Even the mention of his name brought with it fear among men. Klaas Bruinsma was a Dutch drug lord and underworld figure who gained notoriety in the 1980s for his involvement in the drug trade. He founded a sizable drug enterprise and was a key player in the Amsterdam underworld. He was involved in drug trafficking, various crimes, and eventual gang fight death. His hands had the blood of hundreds of people and was an enemy to the Dutch government. He died on June 27, 1991, by an ex-cop in Amsterdam. However, his death was not able to cleanse his history with Mabel. Mabel denied ever having a romantic relationship with Brownsma, but when information about their relationship surfaced, the Prime Minister at the time, Jan-Peter Balkenende, stated that it was obvious the couple had concealed information and that he would not put forward the legislation required by Parliament to authorize Miss Weiss-Smith's admission to the royal family. The pair admitted that their statements to Mr. Balkenende were naive and incomplete. They decided to wed without waiting for legislative clearance. Though it was hard for the public to believe that Mabel, a successful entrepreneur in her own space, had anything to do with the gang, but when the gang leader's former bodyguard came forward and said she was his girlfriend, Mabel had to come clean, admitting that in 1989, while still in college, she met a gang leader while sailing and that they even shared a meal. However, after learning of his gang affiliation, she chose to break things off and end their relationship. Prince Friso felt that his sweetheart was innocent, but the public wasn't prepared to forgive her. They were horrified and thought, won't it be a disgrace for the royal family if she marries into it? Will it not bring shame? The Dutch media described her as a mafia lady and a gangster bride, claiming she had tarnished the royal family's reputation. Anyway, the president voiced his reservations about the connection at the time by declaring on national television that his cabinet would not sanction the couple's marriage. Prince Friso was incredibly in love, even though the princess didn't pass the background check and the marriage was on the verge of dissolution. The union and family. In 2004, despite opposition from some quarters, the prince asked the authorities to cease their investigation into Mabel. A month before the wedding, the prince's grandmother passed away, so the event was not as elaborate as the other royal weddings, but it did have a more homely feel. Naturally, the prince would not mistreat his beloved. Mabel's wedding gown took 4 individuals almost 600 hours to make, with multiple large bows adorning the skirt. The crown tiara also had an interesting history, rumored to have been created by French jewelry expert Valerio for his second wife. Following their marriage, the couple relocated to London. She was the CEO of Mandela International, and he was the general manager of a private investment firm at the time. Despite not having royal titles, these 2 individuals led good lives thanks to their abilities. They also had 2 beautiful daughters. In the Isaac audio call in 2005, Countess Luana was born, and in 2006, Countess Zara was born. The tragedy. However, disaster struck in 2012 when the prince was on a skiing vacation in Austria and was engaged in a bizarre avalanche catastrophe. The avalanche on February 17th buried the 43-year-old father, leaving him with severe brain damage. Still unconscious, Friso was taken to a nearby hospital and on March 1 was moved to the Wellington Hospital in London. For the months that followed, Mabel remained vigilant by the prince's bedside, but there were few updates on his condition, suggesting that it was doubtful if he would wake up at all. He was sent to a hospital in the Netherlands on July 9, 2013, so that members of his royal family may visit him. Prince Friso unfortunately passed away on August 12, 2013, a little more than a month after being brought back to his native nation as a result of the consequences of the injury. Only the Dutch royal family and other close relatives were present during his modest, private funeral service and burial in the Netherlands. From then on, there was a sad connection between my birthday and the anniversary of my husband's death, Mabel explained. Mabel, who was usually beaming, fell into depression after her husband left. The media frequently featured dejected pictures of the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. But she started to gradually transform over the last few years. It has been 20 years since marrying Prince Friso. For one, it seemed that they had a happy life before the death of Friso. Mabel had committed herself to charity and her career, and today her smile has grown progressively brighter. She stopped living in agony and instead used her grief as strength to accomplish more good deeds for the general population. However, one cannot but wonder, if the prince had not married Mabel, would he still be alive today? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. That concludes the video. If you want to see more real-life stories, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and click on the bell icon for more notifications.